how do you handle that when someone's, again, earmuffs to kids listening, if we talk about Santa Claus and they tell their kids, I'm not going to tell them fairy tales, let's call it, and you're like, no, I want, like, they're kids, like, let them have fun, like, it's no harm, like, you're not, I've always heard the argument, like, don't lie to your kids about made up, whatever.
Right.
But it's like, it's childhood memories, like, it's I mean, you're not like, not like lying to them about where daddy went, something that's like a little more meaningful, like, how have you handled that with, like, your kids getting to that age where some other parent could ruin it?
There's so many inconsistencies from how one family does it to another, you know what I mean? So, and not that there needs to be, but it definitely makes it more challenging of a parent when your kid's in first grade, second grade, and they're talking to the other kids in class and like, oh, Santa did this, and it's like, oh, Santa didn't do that for me, and then they start asking questions, and how come this and how come that, and so and so, like Cameron lost a tooth actually here on Saturday. We were doing some work and she was coloring on the board over here, and she was like, Daddy, my tooth fell out. So anyway, she was saying that, oh yeah, the tooth fairy leaves glitter all over the place. I'm like, she does? Well, yeah, that's what so and so said. I'm like, oh, of course she does. So
she does it in my house because
right.
We like
so there's just like inconsistency. So
it's Elf on the Shelf for us. So we put the elf on a shelf, and he stayed there because my kids were 2.
Right.
And Daddy and Mommy did not want to move the elf for a 2-year-old because they forgot about the elf.
Right.
But the older neighborhood kid come over and they love the kids, and they're like, oh, like,
Elfie hasn't moved.
Elf hasn't moved. I was like, yeah, he got hurt, and he's waiting for Santa's helpers to come help him tonight. Like,
yeah, and you just have to like make crap up.
Because then I'm like, well, I don't know how far. Like, again, she's sort of getting at that age too, where like maybe she knows.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't want to just kind of.
Well, and the other thing too that's so, and not to get completely off on a tangent here from what we were talking about, but
we're talking about Easter bunnies. So.
Yeah. Well, and it's just like, it really pisses me off because I feel like you have such a limited time in your kid's life to have like the magic of these,
like pure imagination.
Right, where it's like the Easter bunny and Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy and all these, like you only get that for so long, and it's kind of a neat thing to be able to do and to kind of like have this magic power for your kids that like, oh my gosh. And it's something to hold over their head when they're bad. Like Santa Claus is watching you. The Easter bunny's not going to come. You got to leverage it if you can. But anyways, it just pisses me off when like parents or other people, and some people that just don't have kids don't realize that they're like ruining it by saying certain things. But really what pisses me off are like the other kids at school.